What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back. And we're talking about Big Ramy today, weighing in at a huge weight of, let's bring it up, 153 kilograms, 337.7 pounds, 12 weeks out of the 2022 Mr. Olympia. And I want to get your guys' opinion. So if you're getting in the comments right now, jump in there. Let me know what you think these latest physique updates. We'll go through them. I'll give my opinion, and they're pretty insane. Probably some of the most insane physique updates I've seen of all time. But let me know what you think in the comments below. So for me on these, like that front relaxed, the delts, like obviously there's been a bit of talk about the delts and Big Ramy and, are they jimmied up or whatever? But I think it's just the fact that he's sort of probably shot them over the years, sort of like his quads, and people have sort of said things about his quads. And there's developed a little bit of scar tissue, like probably Hardy Chupin's has done it as well, except his are maybe a little bit more pointy and extreme in some ways when he raises his arms. But Big Ramy, proportionately to the rest of his body, the rest of his body's so big that it sort of justifies having delts that look like that, because I mean, he looks fuller in the chest than normal. His arms are absolutely huge. His lats are just hanging there. He's got that hanging muscle now in his lats, at least from the front, that looks like Ronnie Coleman in some sort of a way or shape or form. So that's just absolutely crazy. The midsection is super tight. He looks so lean for this far out as well. And that is sort of just blowing my mind. And then we've got the front double. Like, it's hard to imagine because Big Ramy's tall as well. He's not a short bodybuilder. So it's hard to imagine him actually sort of messing this up, like from this point, because if he's how many weeks, 12 weeks out now, no one's looking like him at 12 weeks out, in my opinion. So the fact that his waist is tight, he's crossing his T's, dotting his I's. Dennis James has been out there with him in Dubai as well, obviously keeping an eye on him and, trying to, I suppose, bring him in and get him ready as early as possible so he can just sort of cruise into this contest, because conditioning, as Big Ramy said recently in that interview they did on the Menace podcast, conditioning is his weak point. So the fact that he's in this good condition this far out already, super, super encouraging. And I can see the comments here as well. I'll pop them up on the screen so you guys get a little bit of credit. Mark Van Sipe, sorry, Sippy. Sorry, I don't know where you're from, dude. I don't know if that's Dutch or what, but just saying insane. And then obviously this guy here is Rain World. Insane, bro. So the consensus is these physique updates are absolutely crazy, but let's go through a few more of them. Back double bicep. This is where it's not as crazy to me. Like you can see here that the lats, while from a front they look absolutely enormous, from a back they don't look quite as crazy impressive. Like there's obviously these folds here and stuff as well. So the lower lat, I don't think just is going to all of a sudden appear out of nowhere, but he's got so much mass up here. When it gets conditioned, that will still look very, very impressive if you get the glutes in, and obviously has a huge round outer sweep to that quad, so it makes his legs like come out wide, so it gives him more of an X frame. It's going to look very impressive on a guy who's 5'11" and probably standing on stage at, I mean, by the looks of these photos, the fact that he's 337.7 pounds, it's hard to imagine he's going to be under 300 pounds on stage. Like when you get to the other shots, his conditioning is absolutely crazy. So we'll here we go, some more love for Big Ramy. And Mark Vander Sipe, he is from Belgium. So totally messed that up. Sorry, man. But it's cool to get you guys in the comments. Appreciate it. So back double bicep, just absolutely crazy. You can see the comments, obviously, by all big names in the industry, all pros or industry names, because it's only dropped, well, it says here, Big Ramy 24 minutes ago, then George Farrow commented 35 minutes ago and Dennis James 50 minutes ago. Doesn't actually make sense, but you can see this shot here. I think that's looking so much better than what we have seen. And Dennis James actually posted photos looking very similar to this. And he just sort of showed them on that Menace podcast as well. Sorry, a bit dry in my mouth. And it sort of looked like this one. So I don't know if these were the same photos from that session or not, but yeah, pretty crazy there as well. It just looks so much more impressive when it's really, really filled out. Like when you compare this to last year's Mr. Olympia, I think it looks sort of like, to be honest, totally different. And then you got the hands on hip. That looks absolutely insane. That just looks like such an improvement on what we saw from Big Ramy at last year's Mr. Olympia. And seeing these photos, what do you guys think? Like I'm getting a few things. Fan from India, from Toronto. So you guys, Fresno, California. Happy for him. Tim H, how much trend is he on? Insane look. He might be on some. I'm not too sure. But Dennis James was saying on that latest Menace podcast that he reckons big Ramy has, an ish, what's it called? Myostatin deficiency, because it seems obvious. This dude just hardly seems to train for last year's Olympia for like 12 weeks of a year, and he wins it. He's still the best bodybuilder in the world when he trained for 12 weeks of a year. It's absolutely insane. Raymond Jones, he says, looks good, not unbeatable. Wouldn't he say he's unbeatable, but these updates is pretty crazy. So, yeah, South Aussie with Wazzy. Cool. But yeah, Big Ramy is looking absolutely crazy. I mean, what weight do you think this guy will be on stage? Because got one person say, I think he will compete 320 pounds. What do you think? I don't think 320. I think they're going to just there's probably more water and stuff there than we actually can appreciate. Maybe he's got a bit more holding, a bit more of that in his legs, but I'm not too sure. But look out for Nick. Yeah, Nick Walker is going to be a threat. So Nick's looking crazy as well at the moment. Very, very excited to see how he does. And I actually released a bodybuilding news video where I actually talk a bit about Nick Walker and Martin Fitzwater making up as well. So, which is really, really cool. So, who's in my top 5 at the O? Everyone's put my weights in there. So we got 305, 295, 310 maybe, 290, 303. His delts now look normal. Yeah, they look much more normal. I'll go back to some of the other pictures, specifically the front relaxed, where we can see that. We can see the delts a bit more obviously. Like that delt still looks, quite like it pops out like crazy. But as I mentioned earlier, like the rest of his physique is just so impressive that it doesn't look that crazy that his delt's popping up like that. So I don't think it's going to be an issue, to be honest. So who's in my top 5 at the O? The way, that's a good question, because the Mr Olympia is so stacked. It's hard to do a top 5 really, because I end up doing a top 5 and I say 8 names. So some guys that I'll probably lock in my top 5, I'd say Brandon Curry. I know he's been out of Oxygen Gym for much longer than last year, so Brandon Curry is definitely going to be one in there. You guys are awesome. Getting in the comments and asking questions. So I'd say Big Ramy. Looking at these photos, definitely Big Ramy in that top 5. I'll keep trying to scroll through his photos too for you guys. So Big Ramy, Brandon Curry. Hardy Chupin's one of those ones where, as long as he's conditioned like last year and he comes with a bit more size, it's hard to really put him outside that top 5. Then you got Nick Walker. Like, is Nick Walker going to be improved on last year dramatically, or is he, or are we going to see some flaws in his physique standing next to some of these guys at the top? You got Hunter Labrada. The judges obviously like him. Came 4th last year and beat Nick Walker, and he was not at his best. So Hunter Labrada is definitely one who's looking pretty good right now, and like he's added some good mass. There's so many names. I know I'm offending people. William Bonac, dude's crazy. He's definitely one that could be in my top 5. Trying to think of who else is even up there. There's so many names. You've obviously got your Ian Valiers. You've got Andrew Jack, who's coming into this one hot. Like, he's going to be damn impressive. Whether you can match up from a back and from a side leg and stuff, it sort of remains to be seen, but he's an absolute freak. Yeah, it's so tough. There's so many good names. So I answer some more of you guys' questions. Hide current comment. You guys are posting a lot. It's good. Some good viewers in here, so I appreciate that. Here we go. This guy does awesome NFTs for bodybuilding, so make sure you check this guy out. Tourist art and NFTs. Yo, good to see you, bro. I still feel Hardy is a big dark horse. Rooting for him this Olympia. Absolutely. Like, Hardy is one of those ones where people aren't talking about him as much, but he's probably going to show up and absolutely shock everyone because his conditioning will be insane. He's working with Hani Rambod. Like, he's pretty much going to bring his best. And after last year's Olympia, they said they want him bigger. So he's like, that's what we're going to do. And I have no doubt that Hani Rambod's going to do that. So good to see you, man. And appreciate you getting in the comments and watching this live. What other ones can we go to on here? Predictions for the UK Arnold Classic. It's from Lewis Meat. we'll be doing a podcast actually. It's going to be in 7 hours from now, just over 7 hours. So you make sure you head over to the Desktop Bodybuilding channel and you click the notification so it notifies you when we do go live on that. You'll be able to ask your questions live in the comments on that one as well. So everyone make sure you do that and you won't miss out on that live podcast. We'll be giving out Arnold Classic UK predictions. And but it's a pretty impressive sort of top 5 because people aren't even mentioning Lionel Blakey much. He's a big unknown. We haven't seen him in so long. It seems like he's on so many competitors' lists and he just never shows up. So hopefully he does get on stage. I haven't seen anything from him though. Some more questions. I'm trying to bring these questions up on the screen. It doesn't seem to be working. Here we go. Tim H asks, you think Martin can beat Jacked on Saturday? I think it's actually on Sunday, the UK Arnold Classic, the finals. But I do think he can because Martin has certain things that Andrew Jacked hasn't got. But that being said, Andrew Jacked is such an impressive, I suppose he has such an impressive stature on stage that like his structure when he hits that front double bicep, like Martin isn't going to be that front double bicep, even though he might be better and more comparable this contest in front double. He's still not going to beat it. But Martin exposes Andrew in other shots, like from the back, from the side. I think Martin's pretty damn good. We sort of went pose by pose after the contest, and we had Martin winning a lot of shots, but just that whole, I suppose, presence on stage when he walked out. Like when he first walked out on the live stream, I was like, oh, Andrew Jackson will win it. And then I saw the poses more, and the more I saw, the more I liked Martin. So it's hard to say. I would love to see Martin beat him. But also I like Andrew Jack too. He's a good dude. Like I think he's actually awesome. So it's just the fact that obviously I talk to Martin more because he's on the podcast each week. So thanks for the question, Tim. Thank you, John, for a nice comment. Best Ramy ever. Nick Walker will not be top 5. Bonac will surprise. Where do you think Andrew Jack will place with Arnold UK? I'm doing my predictions on that show, so make sure you tune into the live, which will be up in about 7 hours. We're doing a live with the Bodybuilding University podcast. Derek Lunsford or Hardy will place higher. That's tough. That's a tough question. This is from Reformed Townsend. I'd probably say, honestly, when you think about it, the way Derek Lunsford, if Hani Rambod and Derek Lunsford are telling us totally the truth, they didn't know if I was going to be 212, they was planning on 212 at that Pittsburgh Pro guest posing. That leads me to think that he can get even bigger. Maybe even while prepping for this Olympia. I think he's taking a little bit of time off and he's just sort of blowing back up to another level now. And I think he's going to get bigger and harder as he goes into this Olympia. And the fact that we haven't seen Derek Lunsford completely filled out and sucked down. He's always been sucked down and they try to fill back up. And I don't think they can ever get that muscle back because his legs definitely do flatten out when he gets down to that weight. It wasn't as bad last year, obviously, because he won the Olympia. But the year before, you saw his legs just totally disappear. So I think that Derek can beat Hardy, but if Derek is not conditioned close to Hardy, then Hardy will beat Derek. So good question, because that's a damn tough one. I've probably been very close in the Olympia. Nick Walker's chances in the Olympia. I literally have thought about this a lot. He could be one of those guys where he comes in and he's absolutely a freak and he's enormous. His conditioning is better than ever, and he wins the Olympia. Against this Ramy, though, that's looking increasingly harder to do. But Nick Walker could be that guy. Like, he's the mutant. He shocked everyone last year. If you told me he was going to win the Arnold Classic last year, placed with the Olympia when New York Pro, I would have said, no way. People forget that he came 4th in the Chicago Pro at near the end of the last bodybuilding season before that. So 4th in the Chicago Pro to winning the Arnold in the space of, what was that? Was that 12 months? Was that 11 months? It's absolutely insane. So he's had another, a longer period even than that to actually make improvements. So Nick Walker could be absolutely scary. Will he be able to keep his shape and all that sort of stuff as he gets bigger? Sometimes it improves with some guys. So Nick Walker, he could be anything, but I have no idea. Yeah, so lots of good comments here. Walker beats Ramy, upset. Please change the photo of Ramy. Okay, sorry guys, I'll go through those photos. So you look at the front double here, absolutely insane. If you haven't joined, if you've only just joined recently, this is obviously the front double bicep where he looks crazy. Does anyone remember seeing this scar on Ramy? I can't quite even remember that being there. So I don't know if that's something fresh, but I think I remember it, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me know in the comments. Yes, Austin says, "Where's his legs though?" I have not seen them. You can see he's got a bit of a wedgie there, so you can see a glute outline, but that's about as much as we're getting from Ramy at the minute with the legs. But yeah, we cannot see the legs yet. The back it's definitely the worst shot of the ones he posted, but the other ones are so freaky, as you can see. That's awesome in itself. That's even better. It's crazy. Like his midsection is getting really hard. He's never going to have the same clean lines that he used to have, but this is pretty damn good for a guy with so much mass. Having a waist like that is so impressive. Pulling up into that front double bicep, just having this level of fullness, this level of muscle, and having a waist like that, it's very, very impressive. That front relax is just off the chain crazy. So he had hernia surgery years ago. I don't think they did a very good job, because unless he had a crazy hernia, because that's a huge scar. I've had hernia surgery. I've got a little scar underneath my belly button. Chris K says the scar he has over a year now. Yeah, so I don't know what happened there. So does he need to show his legs though? Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Ramy doesn't have to do anything, but I basically just want to get this video out to you guys and basically react and say that this is one of the craziest physique updates I've ever seen from someone who hasn't started their prep. This is his off season. Literally, it's been off season until basically this point. So he says, last pictures before start of my contest diet. Weight 153 kilograms, 337.7 pounds. Let the fun begin. Tags in a bunch of, like Mr Olympia, IFB Pro League, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Getting a lot of questions about Derek and Nick Walker, but basically both those guys are crazy. I've gave my opinion just before. Nick Walker could definitely come a close second to Ramy. I'll just pop the question up on the screen now. Definitely Nick Walker could. But am I going to predict that? No. I think that there are a lot of guys that are right up there. I think Brandon Curry is going to shock a lot of people. He's out in Kuwait much, much earlier than he was for the Arnold Classic. He started his prep much earlier. The Arnold Classic was really a last-minute thing, and he still managed to win that. So that's cool. People see me in the comment. I saw Louis Marco went live the other day. He said, any update on LUA? Louis interview. I'd love to do that, just to get his, I suppose, mindset on, I suppose, why he stopped doing bodybuilding media and all that sort of stuff, and his views on things and all that. So, and his almost fight with William Bonac. If anyone remembers that video, that was pretty crazy. And he's definitely wrong on that one. Louis Marco was wrong on the prediction there that. Sorry, guys, I'll just go through these photos again so you can see them if you're just jumping on the live stream now. You can see we have a back shot. Not as crazy. These ones just absolutely mind-blowing. Let me know in the comments below, like if you're watching this on the replay, how do you think Big Ramy does when he comes up against some of these other guys? Like, just say he stands next to an Andrew Jack and all that sort of stuff. Is he going to absolutely wipe them? Is he going to be too muscular? How do you think he matches up? Because I think Samson Dowder is probably one of the only ones that has a freaky level of muscle that Big Ramy has. I mean, obviously Nick Walker and most guys, but in terms of matching him with height and just overall mass, Samson probably has to be one of the ones. Tim H, Samson top 4. I could see it. Honestly, I could see it. He is very freaky. Will he need another year to sort of condition that level of muscle that he's put on? Maybe, but he's crazy. So anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you so much for getting in the comments. Make sure you tune in to the next live that we're doing, which is going to be in pretty much exactly 7 hours from now. Bodybuilding University. We're going live previewing the Arnold Classic UK with Nathan Diasha, Brett Wilkin. It's going to be Stanimal, maybe Chris Cormier, maybe a few other guys. We'll have to wait and see. who's keen to do it and if they can actually fit it in their schedule. So make sure you do tune into that. So thank you guys so much for getting in the comments. This has been Desktop Bodybuilding. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell button, all that good stuff, and you won't miss out on all the lives and videos and stuff I got from myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. Anyway, this has been Desktop Bodybuilding. I'm Xavier Wills, and we are out.